Heyo, gamer with taste here, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the new, well, not the new consoles, but like the next gen consoles, the ones that are going to come out next, like the PS6 and the Xbox 70,020 HP Lovecraft. Those consoles, the next generation of consoles, when they come out, here's what I want. This is what I want from them. Because, yeah, that's Corduroy. He's been making a fuss today. But here's what I want. Because honestly, we're starting to get to the point where these consoles are basically all the same, you know? Like, I mean, their home screens might be a little bit different. The music on the home screen might be a little bit different. The way they have everything laid out, you know, the way you enter a party chat. There's small differences in streaming, you know, like Xbox has a Twitch app. And when your game crashes, your stream doesn't end on Xbox, which is actually really nice, you know. But on PlayStation, when your game crashes, your stream does too. But, you know, small differences like that. You know, Xbox has their backwards compatibility. You know, it works. It is what it is. But, I mean, for the most part, as far as the consoles themselves are concerned, they're all kind of the same. And they haven't really evolved since the PS3, Xbox 360 era. And I think they could really use some evolution. So I'm a PlayStation guy, so I'm going to be talking about it from a PlayStation perspective. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the controller. All right. I think that when they come out with the PS6, the controller is the thing that they should focus on making better. They should make the controller better. Now, something that kind of harkens back to the original Xbox. The original Xbox had a black and white button. You remember those? And then, I mean, but back then they didn't have bumpers. So now they have bumpers, right? But anyways, I think that they need to add more buttons. They need to add more buttons. I really think it would help out a lot because we're starting to get to the point with these video games where we're having to hold down one button and then we have to press another button just for a brand new input. So we'll be holding down right bumper and then we'll be pushing like X, square, triangle, circle. And then that's a brand new input rather than just pressing any of those buttons or just the left bumper. Or we'll be holding down the right bumper and then we'll be pressing up, left, right, down for a new input rather than just pressing a directional input or just pressing the right bumper, you know, stuff like that. Or maybe we hold down a bumper and then that does something different. Or maybe like sometimes they even overlap inputs. So like in Borderlands 4, the melee button and the grapple button are the same button. And it gets really annoying when you're trying to melee an enemy, but you grapple a propane tank instead. It gets really annoying. So I think what they need is extra buttons. I wholeheartedly believe that. And honestly, they need to utilize their buttons. Because you remember back on PS4 when they first introduced the little like swipe pad here? It's a swipe pad. It has swipe capabilities. I remember playing Warframe on PS4. And you could swipe up and then it would do your up skill. You could swipe left and it would do your left skill. And I used that sometimes. I thought it was a fun thing. And I don't really see games using it anymore. It's a thing that the PS5 controller can do, but no one uses it. Hardly anybody uses it. And I think it's just a missed opportunity for them to actually utilize the controller. You know, it's part of the controller, but they just don't use it. And I think it's a shame. One thing I think that they could do is they could split Yeah, that's Corduroy. Corduroy wants your attention. Say hi to Corduroy. Tell him he's cute. Because he is. He's an adorable boy. Yeah, you are. Anyways, they could split this swipe pad into two. Because, I mean, all they really use this for is for an extra button, right? So if they split it in two, now you have two buttons. Honestly, this thing is big enough, they could probably split it into four. Just like the Borderlands 4 UI. I know people don't necessarily like that UI look, but I think it would be fine on a controller like this. Maybe people would have complaints. I don't know. Maybe you don't listen to me and you go your own way. Maybe instead of splitting it like the Borderlands 4 UI, maybe you just split it as like a plus. So it's a rectangle, but split upwards, and it's split upwards and horizontally, vertically and horizontally, and now you have four buttons. I don't know, maybe you could do that, you know? And another thing that they could do is, like, I got a PlayStation controller that has buttons on the back. You see? See the buttons? They have buttons on the back. But these can only do the same thing another button does. You know? Like, it's not going to be its own unique input. It's just going to take the input of another button. So, you know, it has limited uses. But in Elden Ring, I'll use this. So, like, I'll hold down my button so I can activate my pouch, and then I'll push the other button to use an item in my pouch. And that item I have is specifically the steed whistle. So if I want to jump on or off my horse, those buttons are on the back of the controller. And I don't have to stop moving. I don't have to stop looking with the sticks. I don't have to move my thumbs off of either the movement or the look. I can just use the back of the controller. Pretty neat, pretty handy. I enjoy it. Another thing that they could do is they could put a button like right here, you know, like right on the inside of the trigger. They could put another button there. So they could have two more buttons on the back of the controller, and they could have the buttons on the back of the controller, right? Or maybe they could put a button on the side. This might be less convenient, I think, because, like, what if you're trying to hit the bumper and you just kind of hit that button? Maybe that's a little bit less convenient. But I'm thinking, like, right here, this would be a decent place for another button. Or maybe, like, right underneath the trigger, maybe, perhaps. I think they could do something with that. They could put, like, 2 to 4 extra buttons on the back of the controller, and then they could add, like, 3 extra buttons on the front. Maybe they could even put a button in the very middle of the triangle, X, square, and circle. Maybe they could put a button there in the very middle. It might feel a little bit weird at first, but I don't know. Maybe we as gamers can get used to it. Maybe it could do something interesting. Who knows? All I'm saying is that there is space on a controller for extra buttons. Maybe it would be an engineering challenge to actually do that, because I'm not the one who actually has to make the controller, right? It's easy for me to say, add more buttons. But, you know, you add more buttons, there needs to be extra stuff on the inside of the controller, and there can only be so much space on the inside of a controller, you know? So maybe that's like a design complication. Maybe that's like an engineering complication. But I think if you need to make your controller a little bit bigger in some way, maybe a little bit wider or longer, as long as it's easy enough to hold, I think it's fine, you know? Like it might look a little weird maybe, but I mean, look, man. If you're worried about the controller looking weird, we got the PS5 looking like a router, and we got an Xbox looking like a mini fridge, okay? So don't tell me they can't make it weird, because they've already made stuff weird, okay? And to be completely honest, I'm the kind of guy who loves weird looking stuff. I love the weird looking stuff because eventually that stuff is going to be retro, you know? Like 50 years down the road, you're going to have that weird shaped Xbox. You know what I mean? That one that's just like, man, you own that? You have that? It's like, yeah, I do. I have this weird oblong controller for it too. You know, all the people with the, I don't know what gaming system it was, but it was kind of like the Starship controller shape. It had like that weird, it had like the W, the M shape to it. That one was really weird. I don't even know what console that was for, but it looked weird, but it's kind of iconic and it's pretty retro now. So, you know, make fun of it now, but someday down the road it might be kind of cool. But I do think they could improve the controller. And a second thing that I would want from the PlayStation 6 generation would be better streaming features. Now, this is kind of just for people like me. I'm not a very good streamer. I'll just be straight up honest with you. I do stream. I don't stream every day. I mean, part of being a good streamer is often looked at like how often do you stream? Do you stream every day? And it's like, I mean, I have a job. No, I don't. I'm trying to become an actuary. No, I don't stream video games every single day. I don't have the time for that. I'm not going to be doing that. I do stream though, and I'm not all that great at it. I don't really understand overlays all that well. Not for console. Console, I think, is a little bit more complicated. I've seen people do crazy good stuff on their console streams, and I just feel like I'm stupid. I just feel like I'm ignorant. I'm just going to be honest. I just don't know what I'm doing. There are more options when you go on PC, I've heard. I've said that myself, and I've heard it echoed to the people from the people I've said it to. So, you know, apparently, you know, it is just easier to stream on PC. If they had a way to make it easier to stream on console, I think that'd be pretty cool. PlayStation, do what Xbox does. Make it so that when my game crashes, my stream does not end. Do that, PlayStation, and I will love you for it. Okay? I will. Another thing that you could do is, I mean, PlayStation doesn't have a Twitch app. Maybe PlayStation can get a Twitch app, you know? Maybe they can do that. That'd be kind of neat. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe Xbox and PlayStation both could get like a Streamlabs app. And you can customize your console streams on your console. Maybe they could do that, you know? And stuff like that. I think it would be good if they could make it easier to customize your stream on the console. Just for idiots like me. Just for ignorant people like me who, you know, they like to stream, but they're not smart with how to customize it. Like, don't get me wrong, I've tried, but it seems like every single thing that I try to find for my stream is like specifically for PC streams or for streaming on the device that I'm using to try to set up my stream. I can't set up my stream on console. So if I go and I try to set up a stream on my phone, I'm setting up a stream for my phone. At least that's what it feels like. Or, you know, I go to a streaming platform or streaming service and, you know, they advertise, oh, we have stuff for console, like Streamlabs. I remember paying for Streamlabs, and then I was like, how the hell does this connect with my console? I don't understand this. This only seems to be for my PC. I haven't messed around with it for a while, though. Like I said, I'm the idiot. I'm the ignorant guy who doesn't know what he's doing with it. So I'm also the guy who doesn't care too much. Like, whatever. Watch my streams. Don't watch my streams. Twitch.tv/gamerwithtaste. I'm playing a lot of Borderlands 4 these days. And I am playing Amon right now. And I'm one-shotting everything. I am one-shotting everything. Ever since I got my enhancement, I have been one-shotting pretty much everything. It's been insane. If I don't one-shot it, I two-shot it, three-shot it, whatever. It's right now I'm one-shotting everything, even bosses. I think I one-shot Horus just in one of the bubbles. Anyways, those are the two things that I would like to see for the next console generation. I mean, I might think of more, but let me know what you guys think. You know, I'm just one person. I'm just one gamer. I feel like we're getting to the point where like, ooh, better graphics. Ooh, better frame rate. Ooh, this. Ooh, that. You know, like, those things don't really mean as much anymore. You know, we can get better graphics on the PlayStation 6, but we got pretty good graphics on the PS5. Like, we're getting diminishing returns at this point. And I think really what we need from our next console generation is just a better console. You know, we don't need better hardware per se. We just need a better experience from the console. You know, I think that's really what we need. The console experience just needs to be upgraded. And I feel like, you know, PC has the ability to, you know, they have a whole bunch of buttons that they can use. They have a ton of buttons they can use. But like on console, we're kind of limited. You know what I mean? We're not as diversified in our button choices as PC. I think it would be beneficial if they focused on upgrading streaming from a console and making it easier for idiots like me to stream semi-decently from a console. And I think it would also be a little bit better if we just had more buttons on console. If we had more buttons on console, I think it would be a better console. I'll just be honest. If I had a button for grappling in Borderlands 4, and it was a separate button from meleeing in Borderlands 4, that'd be so good. That'd be so good. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below what you guys would want to see from the PlayStation 6 generation. And I'll read them. I won't guarantee that I'll love them or, you know, do anything about it, but I'll read them. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you have a good one. Hope you continue having good ones. And I hope to catch you on the next video, whenever that is. I don't know when that is. It'll happen. It'll be out when it's out. All right? But until it's out, I'm going to have to catch you later. Take care.